Hello, everybody. Welcome back again to another episode of First Round Showdown. That's where it is. Today we did Cuphead. Amazing, amazing Cuphead. Good stuff. For available for all platforms: PlayStation, Xbox, and Microsoft, and Switch. I'm not sure how many people actually played it on Switch. I played it on Xbox. This game was a 2017 run and gun. Also, we had a couple mainly boss fights with 6 run and gun levels developed and published by Studio MDHR, a team of 2 brothers. Created this, Chad and Jared Moldenhauer. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Where the team makes a deal with the devil to pay for their casino losses by repossessing the souls of runaway debtors. This game can be played 1 player or 2 player. Like I said before, mainly boss fights with 6 separate run and gun levels, 2 run and gun levels on each aisle. Took inspiration from the rubber hose style animation from the golden age of American animation, reminiscent and with the aesthetics of the 1930s and the jazz age. So what'd you guys think? Did you guys enjoy this? Did you hate it?
Hated every second of it.
Hated of it. Sitting here with our brothers Slomo and Shadaloos, our co-host today, talking about a great or horrible game, depending on what people thought.
Yeah, Cuphead. Did any of you guys play this when it came out? Like, did anybody jump on it when it came out? Or
day
no?
one, I got it. I got it day one. I didn't know anything about it until like a week before, and I was actually scared. It was kind of daunting to play it because I had heard that it was an astronomically difficult game, but I was like, I love the way this looks. I have to get it.
You know, it is a very difficult game. I mean, but once you get the hang of it,
I was asking when it came out because it was announced in 2013.
Way back.
It was originally announced in 2013 with a 2015 release date, and the game didn't release until 2017. So it completely missed the mark by 2 years. And so
kind of sounds like Silksong.
Yeah, well, I think kind of what it was originally. So it was a really small team who developed this, especially for a game where like basically everything had to be done twice because they had to hand animate everything. They hand animated all of the characters through paint and watercolor and various different medias. And so they had to draw the characters individually with their animations as well as the backgrounds individually. And then they scanned everything in using a kind of a photo box method that just, was used way back in the day. And then they scanned everything digitally into the computer, and they had to compile all that stuff together to actually make the animations. And what's kind of interesting about that is the game runs in 60 frames a second, as you would expect any sort of, very accurate run and gun style game would be. But the animation is in 24 frames a second, which is typical of what that animation style was back in the day. So everything has this very film grainy feel to it.
And as you go through, you can almost see, and I'm pretty sure, I'm almost 100% sure you can see how they even put the effect of like old time video with like the little small little little white scan line, the statics. Oh, dude, I love that. Absolutely. And it obviously they put the sound of the record player in the back. One of the things you could do is that depending on what you did, you can unlock a couple different ones. You can unlock the black and white filter if you did all 6 passive running guns.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And some way of doing something in the game. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's collecting all the coins or something like that. Finally, at the end level, it unlocks the ability to turn the audio in complete like monophone style music to where it really sounds like a record, like an old time record player. And I just love the fact that they threw all these different special abilities in there.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't know that you could unlock the black and white. I'm curious what that looks like now. I'll have to go look that up. But,
dude, I mean, forget parries. You can't tell the difference of anything. And it's literally black and white. You might be able to see a small difference, but so many things are happening so much at the same time. You almost can't lock on to what is going to be a parry. It's just, oh man, definitely adds a little bit more difficulty, but definitely something great about it.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. This is one of those games that when it came out, I got it right away because it was one of those for a while. It was kind of weird because it was announced in 2013, and then I think some people heard about it, but it was not like big. It wasn't like everybody in the industry was like, "Oh my god, have you seen this
Yeah.
thing?" And I think that's what they were getting close to that release date, and it was like, "Crap, they're not going to make it." And I believe what happened, I could be wrong, I could read on this, but it was like they clearly needed more time. They needed more budget to kind of get through it, and that's where Microsoft sort of stepped in and was like, "Hey, we'll give you that extra cash,
Right.
but you're going to make this a timed exclusive."
Oh,
For
absolutely.
which they did.
Yeah.
Timed exclusive at launch. So I think basically Microsoft saw that potential and was like, "Oh yeah, let's
Let's capitalize on this.
let's lock
Yeah.
it, make it an Xbox thing." And then I believe I seem to remember after that it was definitely at like an Xbox E3 announcement. It was one of their big, stage announcements for when it was coming out in 2017. So yeah, I mean, I don't blame them. Small team, incredibly incredibly shoot for the stars, I guess, project in terms
Yes.
of
This is a very ambitious thing for two people to
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
This game took a lot of work, and you could tell that they loved what they were doing.
Oh,
when they
absolutely.
made this game. Like they
Yeah.
love this game.
It's one of those things where it's like it either would have been extremely successful or it would have just flopped extraordinarily hard.
Right.
And luckily it didn't flop.
Yeah, I don't think it flopped at all.
Yeah, like you
No.
said, Shadowloo, it came out for Windows and Xbox September 29th, 2017. It didn't come out for the Switch until April of 19, and then PlayStation 4 finally got it of July 2020. So it was a timed exclusive, like you said.
Yeah, and they I mean, I don't think that necessarily hurt the game either.
Mm-mm.
Like it seemed to do just fine, even all of those things considered, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, good old Cuphead. The gameplay spoke for itself, I think, and totally got them through whatever they needed to do.
Yeah,
But
and it's not really a big story. It's pretty much straight to the point. The opening cutscene pretty much shows, or right off the bat, what the situation is. Halfway through you see small cutscenes where King Dice and the Devil are talking of like, hey, you know what, these guys are making the way here. We got to figure out some way of making things more difficult, or whatever, and it's it's straight to the point, and I think a lot of people definitely enjoyed that.
I love that there were barely any cutscenes. Chaos says, I remember hearing somewhere that it wasn't initially planned to be successful, but it went viral before launch. The creators then backed up and took the time to make it better.
Well, so I think what happened, again, this is all like behind the scenes, but typically this is what I think happens. It's like, I'm sure they shopped around for more money, or they knew like, hey, we weren't going to be able to meet the date. We're not going to be able to cross the finish line, or something was suffering. And because I highly doubt Microsoft approached them first and was like, hey, let's lock this thing in. So they were either shopping around or Microsoft approached them. And that's when it was like hey, if we're going to launch this, we're going to launch it right. So pump the brakes, and polish everything up, finish everything, do everything you got to do. And I guarantee that conversation had to happen at some point.
Yeah.
That it was like, look, I know you want to make 2015, but that ain't happening anymore. Like you're in Microsoft world with Microsoft dollars. And we're going to tell you,
we're going to do, if we're putting more money into it, we're going to do this right.
Yeah, you're going to launch when we tell you you're going to launch, kind of thing.
And had that not happened, we probably wouldn't be sitting here. So
That's right. I mean, you never know. You could have gotten a game that was quite literally half the length of this game, right?
Yeah.
Or
and doesn't control as good and looks terrible, and
something's got to give. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that it's like, I think this is something that definitely scratches that itch for people that love a difficult game. Like I have a hard time.
The itch.
It always scratches.
So good. So good.
And it's kind of weird because I hate to even compare it to something like Metroid or Castlevania in terms of that platforming difficulty, because there's not really any other game that I can think of that's kind of like this. I mean, this is really meant to be like fast-paced shooting, jumping, 2D platforming, right?
This game is really kind of standalone, there's
as far
as like there's platforming, but it's not like the main focus of the game.
Yeah.
They're shooting, but what other game do you know of where every level is a boss fight?
Right.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying is like you could look at you could silo the platforming piece, like the run and gun stages or whatever, right? And you could compare that to something like Rayman Legends or Rayman Origins, those Rayman games, and it's like those very much so focus on platforming 100%.
Yeah.
It's not about
Yeah.
shooting stuff or anything. It's about making interesting platforming levels and difficulty through platforming. This is like, yeah, there's platforming there, but there's also shooting there. There's also dodging there and parrying there, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a fine balance of 4 or 5 different things, and it's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, but certainly better than a master of one sort of scenario. So
And I'm trying to remember. There's also the 3. Is it 3? Bullet hell levels where you're using your little plane. And it even has a little bit of I mean, it's definitely a boss fights, but it throws in that type of small smidgen of gameplay as well, which just adds to the greatness of this on all the way around.
And honestly, if they'd released the game Cuphead, just the run and guns, and made like a run and gun game, I'd buy it tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, the run and guns were really
levels
great.
are done well.
Yeah.
Like everything in this game is done really well.
Each level of the running guns is its own theme. It's got each level. Each level has its own specific theme. And each level has its own. They're not even sprites. I mean, it's their hand drawn. Everything is completely different in every single level.
And they all tie into the. There's 3 different aisles for those that haven't played the game, and there's 2 run and guns on each one, I believe.
Yeah.
And they all tie into the aisle that they're on. So like they are different, but they still keep that same aesthetic of like, the carnival level. You have 2 run and guns that are carnival themed, but they're completely different.
Yeah.
And they both have like unique challenges. Like the one you're playing half the level upside down.
Yeah.
And that one's super difficult.
Super difficult, yeah.
That was one that I was like, yeah, no, I'm okay. I think I'm good. Like I don't need to pacify.
Yeah, it's just
that's not something you see a lot.
Yeah, and trying to challenge yourself to do any of them passive is like you really have to figure out where your smoke bomb's going to be. You can't even, or I don't even think you can do any of the passives until you actually unlock the second super, which is the what's that, 3-second invincibility or something like that, 5-second invincibility.
Yeah.
So.
But what was I just lost my train of thought.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, Slow-Mo, I think if they came out with like a secondary game where it was just all run and guns, I think it would do just as great as, God forbid, I jinx it, at just as much as people would love Contra. It would definitely be that same type of,
Yeah.
Griff says Freedom is the best Cuphead player on the TikToks.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's not even close.
I think Contra is probably the closest comparable
Miss your brother, Griff.
thing I could say.
That's all I kept hearing when this game was coming out. I kept hearing it's just as difficult as Contra, and I'm like,
really?
Oh boy.
I think the difference.
Like, I have to get this game, but it's like, man, I'm really, and like I said, I was almost afraid. It's so daunting about this, but it was like, it looks so amazing. I have to get this.
Yeah, that's where, and for context, I mean, it kind of seems like everybody in the chat has played this, but there's basically 3 different types of levels that you play through. There's the level that you launch; it's just straight boss fight. There's no actual level; it's just instant boss fight, and it's from start of the boss fight to the end of the boss fight, and that's it. You either beat it or you don't. There's
and they're long boss fights, like
they can be, yes, yeah.
They all have typically like 2 or 3 phases.
Yeah. Yep. The two or 3 phases, they shift. It completely changes the boss fight. There's run and gun levels, which are basically your platforming levels, which I would argue with like a mini boss or maybe mini bosses scattered in or out.
All of them have some type of
bigger enemy, right?
It's an obstacle.
Yes, an obstacle, and And then I just call them shmup levels. I don't know if there's a specific Cuphead name in which they call them, but the shoot 'em up levels where you're flying. You fly and you shmup. It's a side scrolling shoot 'em up. And I did not at any point in time feel like any one of those mediums was lacking. Like, it wasn't like, oh, the run and guns are great and the boss fights are okay, but the shmups like need a lot of work. Those things suck. It was never like that. Every single one of those was a unique experience on their own, and they all felt really good.
Yeah.
And somehow captured the same kind of magic of every other Cuphead level. I don't know how to describe it, but they work really well. I don't know. I enjoyed pretty much every single one that I played.
Yeah.
Not that I played them all yet. But.
And each one wasn't. There was definitely a difficulty, but it wasn't too difficult to where, like Slow-Mo said, if you came back to it and you just keep trying, and you learn as you go. Like you first time, obviously you're gonna die a bunch of times. Like there's even a spot in the second aisle where you can go to this pond,
or the well,
and it tells you how many times you've died, and it's like, I don't even know if you want to look at that counter, but as you go through, it's not too overly difficult to where you won't eventually beat it. I feel like, there's some people that just aren't good at them. That's fine. But like eventually, if you really, really, really tried, I feel like most people could pretty much take it over eventually. It might take 1,000 times, but yeah.
This game is just like any other game. There's RNG, obviously, that you have to figure out, but it's all pattern memorization.
Yeah.
So once you figure out the patterns and all that stuff, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But it does take time to memorize these patterns, and they throw a lot of elements at you. So there's a lot of pattern memorization in these levels.
Well, and I would even say the RNG is it's like, I guess there is some of the boss fights for the most part, like the levels, it's kind of like, oh, an enemy spawned in front of you. This time it might spawn behind you, right? Like it's not like every enemy is set on a set path, and you're always going to encounter a guy here and a guy there and whatever.
Yeah.
Some are,
like in the boss fights, like the running guns, everything's going to be where it is. But like in the boss fights, there's different things that can happen on different. There's a little.
They might do a specific attack randomly. Like when you're playing.
Yeah, like Hildeberg.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got the bull, the Cupid, archer, the different.
She changes into a couple different things.
Yeah.
A couple times, like you might get the bull one time, you might get the dancing brother and sister or whatever the hell they are.
The tornado looking.
The tornado, or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's definitely some RNG elements in the boss fight levels, but once you figure it out, I mean, you're good. Yeah. Anybody can beat it. It just, it's gonna be harder for some people.
Yeah.
You just gotta figure it out.
Figure it out, man.
Figure it out.
Also, I'm gonna agree with Griff here. He said he prefers the running gun levels, and my niche of video game playing, I do as well. But the entire game is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're already 21 minutes in, and we haven't even showed a gameplay video.
Wow, we're 21 minutes in. Okay.
It's like, wow, that was quick.
I think you guys got it. So yeah, you go. I don't know if I can get my video in time, so we'll see.
Since Freedom's the host, I'll go first this time. We'll save Freedom's for last. Plus, his is better. So
better.
So for my video, I really just picked my two favorite boss fights from each aisle and one running gun level. So on the first aisle, I picked that carrot guy. I forget his name. Or Flower. I'm sure Freedom.
Was that him doing a running gun? Or passive?
Yeah. Maybe. And this was probably my favorite boss in the game. I just like the layout, the design of that boss.
Oh, the cake one? Yeah, that's kind of got a...
Not the cake one.
It's interesting.
The casino
one. The casino one. Okay,
the cake one is my favorite on that aisle, on the second aisle for sure. But like we've talked about, this game is well animated.
That's a really cool level. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
I love this level.
I loved the background of that the whole, because it's a physical prop. They made a thing and they put it on a Lazy Susan and spun it and filmed it. And
I love the genie level in general. I think it's a really good boss fight. But like it's animation's well, the music is great, the controls are tight. there's nothing bad I can say about this game other than that it's hard, and that's that's subjective if you think it's bad or not because it's hard. But I loved it. I have no complaints. And I'd played this game before. I cheesed the heck out of King Dice here, hid behind his hand every single time.
I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't even know that was a spot. I did not know that was a spot.
Yeah, you can. I watch enough Cuphead on TikTok to know what I can do.
We say that a lot, and not to plug anybody, but Castillo, I don't know what the number is on the end of his name. Do you guys talk to Castillo at all, or have you seen his streams?
It's been a while.
Because he basically, like, I should say he only does Cuphead, but for a long time that's like literally all he does, and he S ranks like everything. So he just does Cuphead runs and is like insanely good at the game. So I don't know. We always talk about us playing it, and I'm like, yeah. Anytime I see Castillo play, I'm like, damn, I'll never do that. I'll never figure out how to do an S rank like that, and he does it so flawlessly.
One right there.
I mean, if you play the game that much, you'd be able to do it, I'm sure.
I guess so. The one thing that always kills me is parries.
It's always practice.
That's my only complaint with it is it's really hard to judge the collision on some of the parryable items.
Yeah.
So it's like even
especially if they're coming down, you have to jump to it and parry. It's that's tough. That's the tough spot. If it's coming like any type of downward motion.
Yeah, it's funky. So that's where I'm kind of like, I struggle with that so much. But that's
got that passive run going there. Got that passive run there.
You got that passive run, dude.
Nice, dude.
I did.
How many passive runs did you do though? Did you just do the one? That's pretty much what the challenge.
That was the challenge.
When we picked this, that's all I said was do at least one passive run. So,
I did
my passive run.
2. I did 2 because one of them I did on stream. Slow-mo was there for proof. He knows I did it.
He did do it, and I was, I helped him, but.
Oh, give me a break!
I didn't tell you how to get past the acorn launcher.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah, but you make it sound like I was like
I took the controller and did it for
Papa
him, really.
Slow-mo, please help me. Take the controller and do this part for me.
Okay, no. If it wasn't for me, you'd still be sitting there trying to launch yourself over that thing.
Dude, well, every pacifist run I watched on YouTube, that's how people did it. Yeah. And so I was kind of like, oh, well, this is how you got to do it. And if you're just standing in front of the stupid thing trying to jump over it, you can't. You don't got enough hops.
Right.
So, yeah. Castillo 7640. Yes, that's who I'm talking about, Nova. So stop watching us and go watch him immediately. No.
Yeah, way back when I
keep watching us.
Way back when I used to play Cuphead more regularly. Yes, there was talk of me and him trying to do a kind of a battle where we would both stream at the same time and everybody could see, and either whoever got to the end first or whoever got the best rankings for each level first, but it never came to be. But that was an idea at one point. But yeah, Shadowloo, do you have a video for us, or you just want to tell us what you think?
You know what? I don't have a video for you. I literally have my editor open right now, and it's going to be a video that I might even be able to have done by the end of this.
Or you could just do a passive run right now.
I could do a passive run right now. Should I do that instead? I could see
a lot of time.
But essentially the video that I'm working on is kind of a brief history of Cuphead, and I'm gonna have it on our TikTok and YouTube and everything else as well. So I'll see if I can get that done. Do you legitimately want me to do a pacifist run right here? I will do it.
I don't know if we have enough time for that.
Do we? Okay. If we don't, I won't do it.
Whatever you got. If you want to play it at the end, or if you just want to tell us what you think about it.
Wait, do what you got to do, man. Just throw it up there. Who cares? We got time.
Yeah.
We got time. Just do it.
Just do it? Okay, here, let's see.
Which one should he do passive, though?
Do the tree. That's the easiest.
The tree top? Yeah, it is pretty much the easiest one.
Yeah, okay, so let's see here. How do I share?
I mean, each level only takes like 2 minutes. His video would be that long.
Right.
Let me see here. RE Central. That's what I use. So let me see if I can share this really quickly. And if I can share it, then you guys can see it. The one I was playing is what was the one we were just doing on stream? Was that the Forest Follies one?
Well, he showed a couple of them.
Oh, did he?
Well, meanwhile, while he's setting it up, Slow-Mo, if you want to show mine, I'll just kind of go through a little bit of what I did.
Yeah, let's do it.
If you're okay with that, Sheds.
Yeah, go for it. I'm good with that.
So because I knew. Yeah, so because I knew that we were all pretty much be showing different types of parts of the game, I decided to do some references in the game. There was a lot of amazing references in this game. You could probably make like a 3-hour video alone just to showcase the references. So in this one, I picked a couple of them. Not too bad. This is a little bit of the King Dice mini bosses, but not too bad. So the root pack is based off of the Three Stooges. You first fight Mo. There is Curly. And then if you can look in the way the carrot looks, it's actually Larry. I grew up on the Three Stooges, and as soon as I seen these guys, I'm like, I knew these guys had to be somewhere. So the next one is Ken and Ryu for the croakers, the frogs. That's supposed to be the power, the fireball that they did, and then the Ken character in the back, whatever he is, I don't know what their names are, spits the fire, basically in reference to Ken's dragon punch. This was based off of a 1930s cartoon called Singin' You Sinners. Basically a ripoff of the Ghost. This guy was a reference to the magician in Ghouls and Ghosts, which we actually just kind of blew through right there. Let's go back to that real quick so you guys can see it. Hang on. Almost like a spit for spit. Magician throws the ability right there. Hang on. Come right in. Oh, you can't. Of course, it's not going to show. Anyway, Ghouls and Ghosts right there. As soon as I seen that, I'm like, dude, I know that's definitely a reference. This was a reference to a Batman and Robin boss. As you can see in the video of the cat on the left, when he smacks the ground, it's basically the same thing. The things kind of drop down from the ceiling, which I thought was a pretty great reference all the way around. Let's see what's next. What do we got here? Oh, and that's a reference to Tom from Tom and Jerry. This is Sinbad meets Popeye, or Popeye meets Sinbad from a Popeye reference right there. Bluto, I think his name is. Inspiration from that. Another Ghouls and Ghosts from him sitting in the sitting in his throne, basically, as soon as I seen that. And also back to a cartoon from 1929 called Hell's Bells. With references for the spider and these little minions, like almost spit for spit reference and from that all the way around. So I thought it was pretty great all the way around. They had so many references. This mini boss from Bon Bon is a reference to Cuphead, and as well, this entire world right here was based off of the board game Candyland. So like I said, you could pretty much make a 2 or 3 hour video alone, just making from the references and the instances from different ideas that they got from current media. So not too bad all the way around. Cool references, absolutely. Yeah.
What a great educational video.
Not
I love
too
it.
bad.
Shadowloo, you set up yet?
I think so. I think it should share my screen. I don't know if you guys would get the audio or not, but that's fine.
Oh, I see it down there. Okay. Let me throw it up onto the thing. Oh, he's doing it. Oh, there we go.
I just started the level, so I'm like, whatever. We'll get through it. And now after doing that other one for so long on stream, I'm like, I got that performance anxiety, Now I'm gonna biff it right here. I'm gonna biff it right here. Look at this noise. Let's see. Can I? You know what? I got down to 1 hit to make it an actual challenge. How about that?
There you go. You get some of those parries, you could do the oh, he's going to need the invisibility anyway. Is he?
Yeah, he is. You will to get past that bug.
I mean, you might be able to. You might be able to dart past. You want to parry some of the pink. Yeah.
I don't think you need it. I didn't do it. I didn't have the invisibility power up to get past it the first time.
Oh, okay.
Well, then you'll need to not take any hits to get past him.
At least have one hit, one extra hit. Yeah. But we'll see.
So says you.
Ooh, that was close.
I bet.
Looking good. So, in the comments, did anybody else actually try to give this one a shot this week, or have you guys played it before and did you enjoy it? What did you guys think? But yeah, this is pretty much, it's a pretty great game all the way around. I really love the fact that they put so much into creating this, different ideas, different aspects. Like you said, Slow-Mo, each type of gameplay for this was absolutely phenomenal. The way they made it, it wasn't lacking, I feel, in pretty much any of the aspects of the running guns, the boss fights, or the shoot 'em ups, as Shadaloo said. So
Yeah, I mean, and all the things you look at in a great game, this really had all the elements.
yeah,
You know, there was no area where it lacked, in my opinion.
Oh, shit.
oh no,
iframes!
go! Oh,
There
he
you
did it.
go.
He did it. I was gonna say what? Nice. Good stuff.
iframes.
Good
That's how
stuff.
you do that.
All right.
Nice, good stuff. Did the thing on Switch, yeah.
He did it.
If only this were Twitch, right?
But yeah, I mean, like, I don't have anything bad to say about this game. I have no critiques. I think they did an awesome job. Especially for two guys. It doesn't feel like a super indie game. Like, indie games usually you can tell they're indie games.
Let's be clear. It was two guys that founded the company and started the project, and I think ultimately the team ended up being about like 10 people. But still, to do a big
initial
game
idea,
like this, 10 people is
to take a game that is
a lot of
indie
work
and make it feel like a, like a mass-produced game.
Yeah.
Griff said I
agree
played
with
to the dragon. Are you talking? Oh, she's probably talking about Matchstick.
Oh yeah, he said he was stuck on the clown for the longest time. Matchstick actually gave me the hardest time out of all the boss fights,
especially that final phase with the fireball or the flame, and then you had to focus on them, but at the same time the clouds are all moving. You have to keep balancing on the clouds. It's like definitely adds some difficulty there.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, it definitely I don't know. There was a few that gave me a hard way to go. Matchstick was one of them. The clown, honestly, was too. Yeah, I agree with Griff on that. I was stuck there for a little while.
So, did you guys have a favorite? Actually, Shadow, did you actually wind up finishing the game or no?
I did not. No, it's one of those things that it's like, anytime I go to it, I have to piecemeal it. I can't just sit there and get through like 20 bosses because somebody's gonna piss me off. And it's like, okay, I'll fight it, I'll get pissed off, I'll beat it, and then I'm like, hell yeah,
all right, I'm putting
why
this down
bother
for right
doing
now.
any more tonight? Yes, I need to step away and get a breath. So I think
I'm not trying to say I'm better than Shadowloo's, but I beat it all in one shot.
Good job, good for you. I think I'm like somewhere like 60% or something. My file's at 60% or something like that. It's like I got there majority of the way, and then I don't know if you guys have played the DLC. I've never played the DLC, so I don't know what it looks like.
Yeah,
I bought the DLC. I did not play it for this, but I
played and beat the DLC whenever it first came out. But I found myself just kind of enjoying the original game more than the DLC for some reason.
I mean, of course, that makes sense, but like, I feel like the DLC still has its.
It does. I mean, it still has its merits, and you unlock the character, you unlock the Chalice, and she's got her own like some type of special ability that she can do. And with the DLC, they also came out with like 4 or 5 more attacks you can do. So yeah, it definitely added a little bit more to.
Isn't that when they came out with like Crack Shot and all that stuff?
Yeah, Crack Shot, and I don't know whatever else they use.
I didn't buy any of the ones that weren't original. Like the only ones I actually bought were the Spread, Chaser, and Lobber.
Yeah, most of the time whenever
and the one that like you shoot backwards in it.
Oh, the roundabout or whatever.
Yeah. That I use that one quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time whenever I go,
I think.
Yeah, most of the time whenever I go through this, I pretty much just buy what I need right off the bat, which is the smoke bomb, and I use the pea shooter for 95% of it, and sometimes I'll switch to the shotgun or the spread. But other than that, yeah. So, but do you guys? Okay, real quick, do you guys have a favorite boss that you guys have fought? And which one did you hate the most of what you played?
I think my favorite probably. I don't know. That's hard.
I don't know any of their names. I mean, my favorite levels in general are, I think, the shmup levels, just because I always like shmups. So the one that you
Some
were
people still use
showing,
the
that's
homing
kind of like
shot.
the Arabian, that has
the
like kind of
genie?
Arabian theme. Yeah, that one's really cool. Even the intro level where it's kind of like star constellation,
Yeah,
you know, and it
yeah.
changes. Like, I like both of those. Those were really fun. I enjoy the shmup levels. I'm trying to think of the boss that like really pissed me off or gave me the hardest.
So I really enjoyed
I'm
the
with Griff here.
difficulty. Yeah,
The slot machine is fun, and the candy boss. Those were two of my favorites for sure.
yeah, yeah. My overall favorite, and I just packed him away because I was trying to clean up my display here. Not want to say he's simple, but one of the first ones I fell in love with was Cagney Carnation, the sunflower or whatever. I thought he was really great, but one that I absolutely hate going through is just because she gave me such a hell of a way to go was the honeybee or whatever in the
I
third
didn't mind that
aisle.
one.
What's that?
I didn't mind that one.
Yeah, something about it, man. I mean, once you get to that airplane phase that she has, dude, that thing is
That is hard with the pea shooter.
astronomical.
But
Hard
if you
with
have the lobber,
oh
easy.
yeah,
Easy.
yeah. Oh, because
I
she
knew that
hangs
going
down.
in.
She hangs
Yeah,
down
so
at
you
the
just-
bottom all the time.
you just-
Yeah,
bloop.
yeah.
That's where I think I struggle with the switching up configurations, because most of the time it's like I find a weapon that I like and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna make this work.
Oh, actually, Griff just got done
I just
saying
changed
down there.
secondary
Did you guys do any of the hidden bosses? So there are 4 bosses on here that actually have a secondary battle sequence. So the first one is the root pack. If you see the onion and don't shoot the onion, he disappears, and when the carrot pops up, a radish will also pop up and do like a tornado thing at the bottom, so you constantly have to worry about him going across the level as well, which I should have showcased that as well. Another one was the genie. If you get halfway through and he does that lightning bolt like he's trying to read your mind, if you switch to the small plane, he actually changes into a secondary boss fight where you're fighting almost like it's almost like a cradle, not a cradle, a mobile from a cradle, and then I can't remember what else appears, but it's a secondary one.
Interesting.
What was the other two?
The other one was, look at those now.
Yeah, the other one was the chick at the play in the third aisle.
Solid stage play.
Yeah, there are these 2 platforms that are like I think they're like clouds or something. If you do the parry jump off of the heart she throws and pull both of those down by standing on them, there's a whole nother place that she goes. Instead of becoming married, the sign in the background actually falls on her husband. Wait a minute, there we go. My screen went black. And then instead of becoming married, she becomes a nun, and there's a whole nother fight sequence for that. And I think there's one other one that I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, they threw a lot of different stuff on the into this all the way around.
I will say the early on, the sunflower really pissed me off.
Yeah.
There was because there's so much platform management on that outside of just focusing on the boss.
I would say he's the hardest on that aisle.
Yeah,
probably.
Really, really difficult. So that was one that I know I really like. Early on, I was like, oh, I get what this game is.
Yeah.
I was like, I see what I'm gonna have to be dealing with here. So
yeah, all the way around. So
yeah, everybody else kind of falls into place though. It feels like one of those things when you sort of like get it and you understand movement and pairing and everything.
Yeah.
Once you sort of figure out, it's a little bit of Mega Man in that respect, right?
Yeah.
Once you sort of figure out how the boss is going to move and what it's going to do, like how to read them, you can kind of get through it all right.
So do we want to rate the game?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's rank it. All right. So as you can see, I went ahead and
I knew it.
S tier. That is no indication of how I felt about the game, but I give it an S.
It's not, huh?
As soon as I seen it,
never is.
I knew it.
Never is, but I'm putting it up there in the S. I mean, like, it's so well made, and it's a fun game. I have nothing bad to say about it.
Okay.
I can't put it any low. I could put it at an A. I could see justify an A, but for me, it's not. It's an S.
For me, like I said, it was very daunting. When I very first heard about this was probably a month or two out before this game got released. I had no idea about it. Shadowloo, when you were talking about it, was at one of the E3s. I hadn't heard anything about it, so I was afraid and daunting about this game with the difficulty and the references of what people said it was going to be like. But because of the art style alone, I definitely had to get this one. The soundtrack was great. They did the great 1930s, 1940s style, jazz and the ragtime music or whatever they used in it. It was absolutely amazing. Each level, obviously, we said was hand drawn or painted in the backgrounds. They used all the aspects that they could at the time, and then they got help from Microsoft to finish it out. Each level completely different. Each boss had its own movements and stuff like that. All the way around, pretty great game. I definitely will agree and say that this is definitely an S rank game. Solid A. I would definitely say S.
You guys might have talked me into an S. So originally I was gonna say A, and here's my reasons why. Okay, there's a lot of amazing things about this game. Again, no other game has an animation art style like it, let alone I would even argue maybe even a development flow like it. I mean, I can't think of too many other games where they would have hand drawn the entirety of the game,
right?
To physically and then to get it in, digitally or whatever. So that looks great. The soundtrack is extraordinarily fitting for the era of animation. Everything about it is just fun, and the animation feels so like warm and rounded, and it's just overall interesting. And then on top of that, to pair it with a difficult style of gameplay, or I should say at least 3 different difficult styles of gameplay. Everything is the level of depth that I like in terms of like things you can equip. It's not like you have 8 million different things and skill trees and experience and level. You don't have to worry about any of that. It's just like, no, your finger goes pew pew, and it goes pew pew 3 different ways depending on what type of pew pews you like to have equipped, right? So all of that fits really well for me. I like all of that stuff. It's like, can't really say enough how great of a game it is. The one thing that stops me is it's not just me who plays this game, right? It's like, to recommend this to somebody, you want that like barrier of entry to be very approachable, and not everybody could enjoy all of the things about this game just because of how difficult it is. Even with the simple, the simple difficulty, if you will, we didn't really talk about that, but there's both just kind of a normal and a simple, which the simple sort of dumbs down the I guess paths, the enemy paths and stuff like that on the boss fights and junk. It's still decently difficult if this is not your cup of tea. For Cuphead, if Cuphead's not your cup of tea. So I was like originally gonna say like A, because everything's great about it. I would always go back and play it. I have no problems playing it, but it's like, is it approachable enough that like I could recommend it to anybody to play it? And I can't, purely on the basis of like, am I going to recommend it to some people to be like, hey man, this game's great, but it's going to piss you off? Like, I don't know. So I mean, who am I to say anyway? The S ranks would outrank me regardless. So maybe
S
I will.
rank has to be
Well,
unanimous.
well, I was going to say S rank definitely has to be unanimous.
It has to be 100%
It has to be
unanimous.
100%. So
Yeah.
if you don't feel like it's an S, then
I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy to stop that. I would have a hard time arguing against me.
Didn't you recommend Blasphemous to me?
Blasphemous?
On the
Yeah,
premise,
I did.
Yeah, on the premise that it was going to piss me off.
Yeah, but you love, well, not on the premise that it'll piss you off. I have recommended it to you for other reasons, but no. But I mean, I would have a hard time arguing the other side of this too, as to why it's not an S rank. I could argue both sides, so I'm completely fine with it being in that S rank territory. I
think it's another game that we've played that they took their time and made it how they wanted to make the game was Skull Monkey. So I feel like it's in good company over there.
Okay. All
Sounds
right.
good.
Chaos
to me.
says Slow-mo likes games that piss him off. Yeah, I do. I like games that make me like get up and walk away and like slam doors and just like contemplate every life choice I've ever made. Those
Sounds
are my
good.
kinds of games.
Sounds good.
Did you contemplate all your life choices playing Cuphead?
The first time I've played before and I made it all the way to King Dice and then I quit playing it because I was burnt out on Cuphead because it was like a time where it was really big all over TikTok and all that stuff.
Right.
So I was like tired of the game completely. And then I hadn't played it till this came up and here we are.
So good stuff. Got our secondary S rank. Griff says Hollow Knight was hand drawn, as was Streets of Rage 4, which is another amazing
But-
game. In
And
the
Hollow Knight's
series.
another game that I would throw right up in the S rank.
But but I guess the differentiating factor though, Griff, is that was it hand drawn on a digital format? I mean, like somebody did it, through computer animation digitally. Because on this, it's like these guys like painted.
These guys went back
painted
to
and
like
then
1930s style.
Yeah, like
yeah.
they literally kind of animated this game twice basically to capture that art style. But Streets of Rage 4 looks absolutely beautiful.
Oh, it is.
I
It's
didn't
amazing.
know.
It is great.
Yeah.
I played and beat that. I've put so many hours into that as well. Also, don't know if you guys know or not. I think it's on Netflix. This Cuphead also has a TV show. I think is on a secondary season. I didn't really like it. My kids were all about it. My kids saw me play through Cuphead a bunch of times, and they were telling me about it before it came out. It's not what I expected, but I can see the aspect of trying to make it kid-friendly as much as possible. It kind of feels like, to me personally, it kind of feels like they took Cuphead and spit in a bunch of like SpongeBob, like almost like a SpongeBob.
Oh, really?
That's for me though. That's I expected something specific. The characters, if you guys check it out, see how you feel about it. But my kids loved it. I didn't really like it though.
Do we have any trivia for this one or?
I do have a little quiz. I mean, reading through
right.
it is pretty easy, but let's see if you can get a 10 out of 10.
Let's run it real fast. Let me pull up the. There we go.
We'll run through it. These should be pretty quick, I think. So, what is the name of the island where Cuphead and Mugman live? Is it the Twin Isle, Paradise Isle, Inkwell Isle, or Imagination Isle?
It's Inkwell Isle.
I'm pretty positive that is correct. What is the name of the shopkeeper who Cuphead and Mugman can buy items from? Rawhide, Pork Chop, Pork Rind, or Mr. Hog?
Pork Rind.
I think it's Pork Rind.
Pork Rind?
Pork Rind's Emporium.
Okay. In Forest Follies, which of these is not an enemy? Tulips, mushrooms, birds, and daisies.
Birds.
Which one is not? Birds, I think, is also correct. What is the name of the first super that you can get from the Mausoleum? The Super Bomb Morph, Invincibility, Energy Beam, or Giant Ghost?
Energy Beam, or as we say, the Cuphead Kamehameha.
Wow. Is that among the Cuphead aficionado?
I don't know.
Anytime
I do it, I say it in my head when I use it.
Okay.
I say it in my head when I use it.
Okay. In threatening Zeppelin, Hildeberg is fought on the ground. True or false?
False.
Negative.
I think that's also correct. Okay, what color objects can you parry? Pink, black, blue, or yellow?
Pink.
Yellow. Just kidding.
All right, you wanted to be that guy. Which two words always appear on screen before the start of a boss battle? Ready, go. Ready, fight. Ready, let's rumble. Or ready, wallop.
Ready wallop.
That'd be that. In High Seas Hijinks, what is Cala Maria wearing on her head? A clam, a seashell, a crab, or an octopus?
It's an octopus. Which is, I guess, supposed to be her hair, because it's...
And then she turns into that Medusa thing.
Yeah, she's pretty much a Medusa character, yeah.
How is Sugar
wait a minute. Did you say an octopus? I thought they were eels.
The eels come up behind her.
Oh,
yeah, the top of her head is an octopus.
That's what it is. Yeah, you're right.
Question number 9. How is Sugarland Shimmy represented on the map? A lollipop, a muffin, a jawbreaker, a candy cane.
You said
Sugarland. Oh, that must be
Sugarland
the. That
Shimmy.
must be the. That's part of the DLC. I think. I think it's a candy cane.
We might
I
have
think
to
that's
side
part of the
with Freedom here.
DLC. I don't know.
Because that's not
I've
the
only
cake
done a
one.
little bit of
What's
the
the cake one?
DLC.
Okay. So we'll go with candy cane. Fill in the missing lyric. I'm Mr. King Dice. I'm the gamest in the land. I never play nice. I'm the blank right-hand man. Demons, casinos, devils, or inkwells?
devils.
I think it's Devils.
All right. Let's go ahead. This one seems like we should be in a 10 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Oh, it was a 9 out of 10. We missed the Sugarland Shimmy one.
Okay.
We answered a candy cane. The correct answer was a muffin.
A muffin.
I don't know.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
It's represented by a muffin-shaped building on the map. This is a level where you fight Baroness von Bonbon along with her minions.
Oh, her. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking gasoline one.
Yep. Okay.
We're dumb.
That's okay.
Y'all ready to spin the wheel?
9 out of 10.
We are ready to spin the wheel. Also, I told Slow-Mo the 2 games to replace because clearly you guys couldn't get Mr. Bones emulated, and then this is also another game from my pick. So I put on there Red Ninja for the PlayStation 2, and I also put the Ooze for the Sega Genesis on there. So we'll see.
The Ooze.
Eventually.
Shadow Loose loves those Sega games. Here we
Can't
go.
wait.
I don't know. I think. Yeah, I think you saw me play a little bit of the Ooze at one point.
Every time I click the slide, Freedom says something and it just cuts them off.
That's okay.
Never cuts off anybody else. All right, let's give this wheel a spin. Or 42 shuffles real quick. Let's get a Shadow Loose game. We haven't had one of those in a while.
Yep.
Goof Troop.
Another
Alien 3. Alien
Are
3.
you effing joking me? How many times?
Wait a minute. What were the last two? What were the last two? So we did my pick last time. What was the time before that?
Kirby.
Okay.
And then before that was, I don't even remember. I can pull it up.
You know what?
So Quackshot was before that.
Yeah.
Quackshot, and then.
So this is the second game back to back. We could do this. Me and Slow-Mo have been looking for this for a while, or we could veto it. I'm okay with vetoing it, depending on what you guys want to do.
You know what? I'll tell you what. Here's my compromise. I'll compromise with you. I have Alien 3 on the Super Nintendo.
We can't do that because they're 2 completely different games.
Oh, come on.
They are. If they were the same,
I understand, but
if you don't want to do this, like I said, I'm cool with vetoing it. We can spin it again.
I'll play it. I don't care. I'm pretty sure I've got it on my Genesis Mini, so we can go with it.
Well, I'll let you guys decide.
I mean,
we don't have to decide. It's decided. Well,
right.
The wheel decided. Alien 3.
Alrighty. This one, there is nothing wrong with playing this one on easy. I'm probably going to play it on easy because the only difference
is
hard.
How is it different than the Super Nintendo one?
It's a completely different game.
Completely different game. Yeah, absolutely.
So, have you played it for the Super Nintendo?
Well, yeah, I own it. Yes.
But that doesn't mean you've played it.
Yes.
So the difference in this is the time they give you to complete each level. You have a specific you have a specific set of prisoners you have to save in each level, but the difficulty selection is how much time you get to go through each level. Now, as Slow-Mo already knows, as I know, because I grew up with this game, but I never really got very far. The way they throw these enemies at you, you almost have to know they're coming, and they do spawn randomly. Yeah, so this is the Genesis one, yeah. Soundtrack, oh, dude, this one, soundtrack, absolutely top tier, by the way. Yeah, so you got the time frame up top. You get different weapons and stuff like that. Pretty straightforward with that, but the enemies move so fast in this
They
to
do.
where you literally have to know they're coming, or you almost have to pre-fire, but your weapons are limited. So
It sounds like a nightmare.
It is a nightmare.
I'm
and I've been
looking at
waiting for it since day one.
yeah, we've been talking about this. This has definitely been on the list since day one.
Well, I will say I think the Super Nintendo game looks better. I think it has a better art style.
Oh, of course you do.
I mean, I don't think I'm just quite literally looking at like visually, it looks better in my opinion. Like much like just detail wise, way better color palette too, in my opinion. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Chaos
I'm
says, I
sure-
foresee a broken controller. That is possible. That is very possible.
Not me. I'm not breaking my stuff.
I break the drywall before I break the controller.
Right.
So yeah, try to get
I'll
as
break
far
my
as you can.
hand.
There's no challenge on this. The game is the challenge. So play it. See how you feel about it. You know, this
Have
it's
either
already
of you
difficult
ever
enough.
beaten it?
No.
No.
I love playing it. I love the difficulty. I love, like I said, the gameplay is great. The music is phenomenal. It's just so difficult with, like I said, the enemies coming at you. You almost have to know that they're coming. You know.
So what happens if you don't beat the level in time? Does it just
The
be game
prisoner.
over
It
and have to
actually
redo?
shows a small cutscene of the prisoners and the alien busting out of their chest. It's actually pretty cool. But yeah, you get so many different tries, and you can change the counter. I don't know how many it gives you. I think you can go up to nine tries or whatever. As you go through. So
Yeah, but if you just don't do it in time, you have to do the whole level over again.
yes,
Oh my god.
yes.
Oh,
And
come
I
on.
think each level has 2 areas or 3 areas.
Oh, okay.
As in, like, so you'll finish the first opening, but then you'll go to the second.
You got to
When
do a couple
you
more.
don't complete it, you don't go all the way back to the beginning. You continue where you left off, but you have to do that whole section all over.
Oh, okay. Perfect. So excited.
Overstar says soundtrack is so good. It is. It absolutely is. My personal opinion, anyway.
Yeah, it's a good game. I had never played it until I don't know. I think Freedom put it on the list, and then I was making content, and I was playing it, and it was very hard to put down. So I look
Okay.
forward to playing it.
If it's not already on my Genesis Mini, I will make sure it makes its way there.
Cool.
And I'll do
And
it.
we hope at the end of this you still have a Genesis Mini.
Might get rid of it. Might just give it away for free.
There you go.
What
Looks
you
like
guys
it's about
do?
that time though.
It's getting close.
Yeah,
getting
7
close.
o'clock on the dot.
Yep. So not too bad. Did you guys do anything special for the holiday weekend? I know Slow-Mo had to work.
Oh yeah, work.
I've been working in some capacity. My wife works for the town hall here as a second job, and I was assembling furniture and stuff for it all weekend. So I'm
there
just
you
tired.
There you go.
I haven't had time to do anything this weekend. So,
Pretty much. So.
Yep.
Well, I think that pretty much winds us down. Appreciate everybody being here. Glad we have a secondary S rank game. We'll see what comes up later for all that. Alien 3 for the Sega Genesis this week. Everybody that is in the comments, feel free to give it a try yourselves, and do not break any controllers with this one.
I just want to point out that Griff gets me.
In my drop top, cruising the streets. Yes. Is it 7 o'clock? Is it 7 o'clock? It's got
It was 7 o'clock on the dot
right.
when I said it.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, guys.
Try
We'll
to
see you
take
all
it
next
easy.
time.
Yep.
Bye.
Love you guys so much.